Hi everyone, welcome to day 10 of the 12 cards of Christmas. Today we're going to be making this sort of Christmas, it's like a Christmas tree made out of sentiment strips, and this is the Tim Holtz Cutouts, Christmas Cutouts die set, and I'm just going to use those sentiment strips. And I've grabbed a selection of cardstock. I want a variation in greens, kind of going into a bit of a teal. So some of these are basil, some are Simon Says Stamp. I think this dark olive is Simon Says Stamp. So I just want a nice selection of shades really. So I'm going to cut all of the sentiment strips from different shades of green. And then I can stack them up. Because of the way these kind of get smaller in size, by stacking them you do kind of get a bit of a Christmas tree effect. So I thought that would be quite fun. Oh, and I'm not taking the credit for this card design. I actually saw Josh was on Create and Craft with this die set recently, and I don't know if it was a card he made or whether it was one of the design team, because I know he had some samples from Tim's team. But anyway, there was a card that just had a plain white background and it was this kind of concept. So this is where I got the idea from. But I'm putting my spin on it because we're going to do a bit of a background on mine rather than have it just on a white card. So mine's going to be just a little bit different. So I'm going to run these through my die cut machine. Now I've picked out all the colours, and on one of them, I think it's the Joy, it's got a little star. So I'm going to cut another piece from that. I'm just grabbing kind of a more of a teal sort of colour so I can cut just the star from that. And these dies have got the sentiment strip, then they've got an outline die. So this means that if you want to, you can cut the letters out and use the letters on their own. You can cut the letters directly into something else. So you could say, for example, have a circle and cut the letters directly into that. Or if you use the outline die as I've done, you get a piece with the letters cut out. Then you can use the outline die on its own to create a panel to go behind if you want to, which is what we're going to do here. And it's at this point, after doing the piece, that it dawned on me, why on earth did I just put one through when I could have actually fitted all of them on my plate at the same time? So I will be putting the rest on my die cutting machine all together to run through. I don't really need to do them one at a time. You wouldn't believe I've been doing this for 20 years, would you? So anyway, I've die cut the rest all all at once, and you can see that I've got quite a nice variety of colours here. And then I do need to then take just that one I want the star from and just run that back through again to get the star to go on the top of my tree. So we'll just quickly run that back through, and then I'm going to grab some craft card to put behind these. So I've got all the outlines and I'm just going to run those all through on craft card, and that's going to give me the pieces to pop behind all of these. I thought craft card would be nice. You know me, I quite like a sort of rustic. I use craft card an awful lot, but I just thought with the green it's going to look really nice. And the idea I've got for a background as well is going to just tie in nicely with the craft. So I'm just making sure I've got those all right before I glue them down. So I'll grab my PVA glue. I'm using Studio Light tacky glue, and I'll just glue these all in place. And I'm just checking the placement as well to make sure that the card I've got is big enough. So I can glue all these down. Really easy to do. So I'll skip ahead rather than make you watch me do all the gluing. So they're all glued down, and I'm just checking again about how they're going to fit. And now I've decided I want to do something for the background. So I've got some watercolour cards here, and this is the Tim Holtz Lumber embossing folder. It's that wood grain one that came out, I'm thinking 2 or 3 years ago now actually. But it's one of my favourites. I use this embossing folder so much, and this actually was back, this was probably one of the first 3D embossing folders that Sizzix came out with. I remember doing shows with it, and I couldn't resist putting this on literally everything I made. So I've got some Oxide inks here. I've got Speckled Egg and bundled sage, and I'm just doing a bit of a wash in the background. I need to re-ink my speckled egg because I'm struggling to get much colour out of it, and I'm just going to quickly dry that off before I move on to the next stage. You do want to make sure it's dry before you do the next bit, and this is a distress crayon. This is gathered twigs, any brown will do really, and you just want to scribble a bit over the top, and then I've just put a bit of water on my mat, and I'm just using a bit of water on my finger to smear that crayon around. Just blend it out a little bit. Don't go too heavy with the water or you'll just end up with your whole wood grain just being light brown all over. You want some of the dark brown to show where it kind of picks up the grain, and then you also want some of that blue and green and even the white of the card to show through, so you get like a kind of bleached wood effect. You can play around with different colours with this technique. It looks lovely. If you want more of a sort of darker wood, you could do brown ink in the background in different shades, but it just gives you that variation, and then the crayon really highlights the wood grain. So I've just torn the edges of this. I didn't want it to look too sort of neat because I have got a bit of a rustic look going on. I thought the torn edges would look a bit nicer. And then I'm going to pop this across the centre of my card, and then I can put my pieces back on. And I'm going to pop all of these apart from the star on with foam pads. And you can see I'm kind of angling them a little bit. I don't want them too straight, but then I also do want them to sort of resemble a tree. So I'm not going to do them too, I'm just tilting each one slightly one way or the other, but I'm keeping them in sort of a pyramid, otherwise you lose the idea of it looking like a tree. And then the last one, I'll just pop a couple of pads on. And then for the star, I'll just pop a dot of glue. If you wanted to, you could do the star in like a metallic, that would look quite nice. And that's the finished card. So I hope you've enjoyed day 10. So we've got 2 more to go. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I do post videos quite regularly, and of course we've got another couple of cards yet to go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.